Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I am your host, Kat Matthews. I apologize for the delay. I said I was busy before, but now I am very, very busy. So I apologize for the gap in the episodes. I know a lot of you are probably wondering where it is. Where's the episode? It's been 10 days. How can I go on without this? There's a lot of episodes for you to go back and rewatch if that ever happens, just so you know. But I do apologize for not having an episode up this past week and for this one being a little late. But it's here now. Better late than never. You'll probably get this Sunday night. This is Sunday morning, the day of rest. And I'm not resting. I'm down here in the basement with the hat doing this episode because I love you. I love you, the audience, and I love doing this. So bear with me. Life's very hard. I have a newborn baby. This episode, I'm going to give you a quick life recap, a little bit of a local controversy going on in our little area I'm going to be talking about. We're going to talk about Washington, D.C., and of course, Trump. We're going to talk about some screwworms and some deformed animals. Also, some McDonald's and Hobby Lobby, the store, the retailer, the craft store, maybe the last of the few craft stores left. We're going to touch on all of this today and more. I'm going to mention two new sponsors that have officially endorsed this podcast. We are growing. And we're going to keep it quick because I know your time is valuable and my time is valuable, and I have a lot to do today. But this is a priority. This is a lifestyle. You understand? This is a lifestyle to do this, to be in the arena, the man in the arena. It's hard. I'm going to pat myself on the back and make myself feel better by saying how hard it is. But anything worth doing in life is hard. Understand? If it's not difficult, then maybe it's, really not that much of a achievement or accomplishment, So keep that in mind. Fill you in on my life a little. Like I said, been very busy. I had a big mural project I just wrapped up. That's done. Check is in the mail. Everybody's happy. The community loved it. Very happy. All the nice remarks and comments I received about that mural. Very happy about that. The baby is doing great. She is now sleeping through the night mostly, which is awesome. Very happy about that. And that's been it. We've been taking her out shopping a little more, which is nice. And we unfortunately made a mistake. We didn't have the baby when we did this. We had a babysitter for the baby. And we decided to go shopping yesterday. And we went to Walmart on the weekend on a Saturday. Now, I was a substitute teacher for years, so I was always off during the summer. And it perplexed me and sent me into a state of awe every time I went out shopping and realized that no one really works, or a lot of people don't work because the stores are still filled, during the middle of the day on like a Tuesday. It could be like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and the Walmart's packed. But even more so is it even more disgusting on like a Saturday. And we went, and this guy almost backed up into me. I was walking, he almost backed into me, and then he said some colorful language to me, which made me even more upset because he was the one that almost hit me. Ruined the whole day, ruined the whole experience, I'll tell you that. More than it already was. Having to be in Walmart in and of itself is horrendous. But almost getting hit by a vehicle and then getting yelled at for that didn't start it off well. So I started ranting, as I always do, to Christy, and I talked about how I hate stores anymore, and there's not many great stores left, and that fun shopping experience is kind of dead. Like the mall used to have. When you'd go to the mall during Christmas time and everybody's in a good mood, they got all these bags, they're not worried about their debt, they have a nice outfit on for the winter. They're bundled up. They were cold, and now it's warm. They walk by Santa Claus in the middle of the mall taking pictures with children. The music is on. It feels warm and nice. Maybe you go get a coffee and you walk around with the coffee and you have your kids with you and you pick out a gift for your grandma and you pick out a gift for your aunt and you feel good. And they gift wrapped it, like they put it in the box. Remember, they would box up the sweater. You bought a sweater and they'd box it up and they'd gift wrap it for you. That felt good. But that experience is like gone. And the only thing comparable to that feeling is Hobby Lobby. Now, I'm going to give Hobby Lobby all the credit in the world. When you walk in there, the people are pleasant. The employees are pleasant. They say hello. It's quiet. The music selection is nice. Everything is like a tchotchke knick-knack thing. So everyone's like walking very slow so they don't break anything. There's always sales. Like everything's on sale at Hobby Lobby, which is nice. It's like a crafty type decorative store to decorate your home. It's a Christian store as well. I mean, that's nice. Those are nice values. Closed on Sunday, day of rest. Very wholesome. And that's like the last place you could go to have a beneficial and nice, pleasant shopping experience. And we went there with the baby another day, and it was awesome. The baby was quiet the whole time, napped. We looked at fake reproduction lanterns and such, like whatever they have there, and it was nice. It was nice. I ended up buying something on the way out. So I bought 2 things. I don't have them. I'll bring them next time. They might be somewhere in the house. I lost them, but there was a clearance aisle. And there was a Pikachu knick-knack, and he had 2 broken ears. I bought it because it was like 40 cents. And there was also a Triceratops. It was like missing a horn. So I bought that as well for like 50 cents. Even though they're broken, I like them. But that's what they had. So then when I was checking out, there was like a bookshelf end cap, and I saw a book, caught my eye. It said, "Are we living in end times?" Like the end of times. So of course I was reading through it, instantly fascinated, had to buy it. That's not something you would expect to see at a craft store. Such a heavy topic. Even the cashiers were like, "Oh, wow, that's interesting. Look at that." And I have it right here. Are we living in end times? What a fascinating read. Oh my God. Biblical answers to 7 questions about the future. It's crazy when you look through this book. Like, it's talking about stuff going on right now. Very weird. This would be a whole episode in and of itself. I didn't finish the book yet, so not yet. But I read this to my baby to put her to sleep. I go, what news events signal the end times? Chapter 1. Good night. 3 extremes to avoid in Bible prophecy. Fanaticism. Fatalism. And she goes right to bed. It's like when I talk to Christy about my conspiracies, I put her right to sleep. But yes, I bought that book at Hobby Lobby, and I'll let you know what I think when I finish it. And then I came up with this other idea about Hobby Lobby that I'd like to explain. And I know my audience is mostly males, I assume, meaning men. If you are single, I'm not single, just so you all know. Just to clarify. But I know some of you are, and maybe you're new listeners to the show. Welcome. Maybe you're a man, maybe you're single, maybe you're lonely. Here's my advice. Now, please take it because I'm always right. I'm always right. You just don't know it yet, but I'm usually 98% of the time right. If you want to find a good woman, like a good woman, not a harlot, not a floozy, that'll break your heart. Now, if you're hooking up and taking advantage of people, whatever, sure. Don't listen to me. But if you want like a wife, if you want a life with a woman that's a partner, that's a good person that will love you and support you, You need to get off the dating apps, number one. You need to get out of the club scene. That is for getting intoxicated and not remembering things. That's for hooking up to fulfill an urge and not remembering 98% of the time. That's what that is. So you're not going to, odds are you probably won't find your wife or significant other there. Now, if you're a female listening to this, I can't help you really. You know, I don't think this applies. I think this only applies to men looking for a female, I think, at least from my experience. But if you do want to find a wife, you need to go to Hobby Lobby. You need to go to Hobby Lobby alone, dressed nicely. There are usually only nice, wholesome, crafting, they read, well dressed, well mannered women walking around a Hobby Lobby. And they're usually not the worst looking people on the planet. They're usually pretty, nice. They're pretty good looking. I'm just being honest. Objectively. Traditionally attractive, let's say, put together, well dressed. Not a lot of pajamas at the Hobby Lobby. Sundresses, maybe even a sun hat. Sweaters, nice sweaters. Not showing too much, not too revealing. Modest, in a seductive way, where it's like, I'm not a pilgrim, but I'm also not dressing like I'm going to the club, like they do at Target. Target, they're wearing nothing. And it's a little much. They wear like nothing. I don't know. Target, I think it's too much. Target, there's nice people too. And then maybe you're not really going to find a single person though at Target usually. And they're probably a little uppity, if you know what I'm saying. They're a little snobbish at Target. Sometimes it overlaps these people. Like the same people that shop at Target sometimes shop at Hobby Lobby, But I'm going to rule Target out. I'm going to say it's no. But Hobby Lobby, yes. And what you do is you go in there like a man that's not. If you're a man at Hobby Lobby, you're usually with your wife or your significant other that's a woman or man. If you're gay man, you may be at Hobby Lobby as well. But you're not approaching the women. You know what I'm saying? So it's a rare occurrence that a man approaches a woman in a Hobby Lobby because all of the men interested in women that step foot in a Hobby Lobby for whatever reason usually already have a partner. Get what I'm saying? Like me. And because I'm observant, I notice this, that there's a gap in the market and a supply and a demand that needs to be filled. And it's straight men approaching the single women in Hobby Lobby. Not in a weird way, but in a honest and genuine way. And I think if you do that, you will be successful and maybe find the love of your life because these are the good people. These are good women, I think. Strike up a conversation about scented acorns or yarn and see where it goes. Not weird. Don't be weird. Don't try club tactics at a Hobby Lobby. You go, oh, I noticed you have yarn. Do you knit? And she'll be bashful. She'll go, oh, yeah. And then you go, I think that's really cool. I always wanted to learn how to knit, but I feel like people don't do that anymore. And she'll go, yeah, I learned from my grandmother. These are all green flags. You know what I'm saying? And then you go, well, if you're ever interested in teaching someone else, I would love to learn. And then you exchange a phone number. And you don't go try with all of them. If you find one, you leave. This isn't the club, you don't try to get 8 numbers and hope one sticks. You find one, that's it. Then you leave. Maybe you walk her out in a not creepy way to her car and then say goodbye. That's it. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. Hobby Lobby is an untapped market to find the love of your life. There should be a Hobby Lobby dating app. People with similar values talking about crocheting, and room decor. That's how you find people. Take it or leave it. I don't care. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Speaking of other things we did while shopping, as you know, I have a very deep affinity for the Grimace from McDonald's and McDonald Land, to be more specific. I went to go get an ice water from McDonald's because they will still give you a free ice water, and it is delicious. Free ice water. And I noticed they had the McDonald Land meal. Throwback 1970s McDonald Land meal, but all the original characters. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like a blue milkshake with red whipped cream. It looked weird. There was toys or gifts, prizes that came in the meal, so I had to buy it. It was like $18. Didn't want any of the food. Didn't eat any of the food. But I did get this. The mystery box McDonald Land 1 of 6 toys or whatever. And if you look, all the original characters are on it, not just the 5 you're used to seeing, but they brought back the Officer Big Mac, the Mayor McCheese. They brought back the Captain Crook pirate, which I own. I have the slide topper from the original playset. Weird flex, but I do have it. If anybody is interested in the market for the Captain Crook head slide topper from the 70s, let me know. But I got this, and I opened it up, and I was like, no way it's going to be Grimace. I just wasted money like always, but I already forgot about it. And then I opened it up, had this packaging, and then I, like Christmas, opened it, and then I saw the purple, and I got Grimace. Signature on the back. Look at that. Phenomenal. Never been more happy in my life, actually. Well, a few things. I was more happy, but this was a big one. The only thing that sucked, it's a nice, like, metal tin, but it was filled with crap. It was filled with, like, paper, like a sticker, a couple stickers, you know? Like this. Stickers. I mean, this one was cool, but it's still paper. The toys for children now are paper. I got a Grimace ID and got this high school photo. He had a mullet. So complete trash, to be honest. But cool metal tin made me feel happy for about 3 minutes. And then I realized I paid $17 for a tin, with some stickers inside. But that's fine. That's what being an adult is. Nostalgia is powerful. We talked about this before. It's pretty much it for me. I'm going to do a quick recap of these events because I don't want to be long today. I don't want to be too long. Local story that's going crazy. Everyone's going nuts now. Data centers. I don't know if you know what they are. Talked about them last episode, I believe. The whole world's going to be covered in them. And what do you know? My little area, the little valley area, 3 towns, they want 3 data centers. Big investors are already putting the money down. They're trying to clear the land. They're trying to redo the zoning so that they can make this residential area commercial. They want to put these big buzzing data centers that require tons of water, tons of electricity. They lower property values. They have a loud hum to them. They have backup generators. A lot of problems with them. I'm not going to get into this. This isn't a city town hall meeting. There's board meetings all over. Everybody in town's going to them complaining. I don't really think you could stop this. These data centers they've been around for a bit, but now even more so they're around because of AI. And all these investors, they probably know something we don't know from a high up politician, that there's grant money or these are the future or here's the profit projections of these. And they don't care if it devalues your home. They don't care. They just want to make money, you know? So they're coming, and it's becoming quite controversial around here. A lot of people are like, what's a data center? What is AI? They've been behind. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is coming, and I don't think there's anything you could do to stop it. But in my area, that's a big problem. Everyone's up in arms. Everybody's talking about it. I was bartending. It's all people could talk about is data centers and AI. So, I mean, at least, people don't care until it's in their backyard. Now it's literally in a lot of people's backyard. I think they're a bad idea, if you want my opinion. I think it's a bad idea to put these data centers so close to society. There's endless land in Pennsylvania, specifically. And there's a multitude of places you could put these. It's not like there's not a lot of open land. So to put them right next to people's houses, I just don't understand that. To devalue and to create these eyesores right near homes, I don't understand it unless they know something we don't know. I don't know. But they're getting pretty ugly, these debates and these conversations about data centers. So we will see what happens there. Meanwhile, there's these random explosions going on in this area all hours of the night, and nobody seems to know what they are, and no one has an explanation for that. But nobody cares about that anymore. They're like, nah, whatever. But anyways, these data centers, okay. People's priorities are always a weird thing. Current events, let's talk about the Trumpster. We always talk about Trumpy. Trump's federal takeover of D.C. police, everyone was mad at that. August 11th, 800 National Guard troops were deployed, taking over for the D.C. police because there was just chaos, apparently. I saw the videos. There's crime like you've never seen before in D.C. and every major city in America, but especially D.C., even in good areas like Georgetown, which is like a very uppity, bougie area, expensive area. The crime is now, filtering into that part of DC and surrounding areas. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, he deployed the Fed, I guess you call it, and people are like, "Hey, I feel safer now. Like I can walk my kids now." I saw the interviews. People that actually live there are like, "I don't mind. I'm not doing anything wrong. They're not bothering me." Anything for a news story. The left wants you to believe this is like the Gestapo. Trump just unleashed a Gestapo on people. But I don't know. I don't know. But that's in the news every day. Everyone's talking about that. But nobody really cares. It'll be old news tomorrow. Some theories I've heard is this is part of a bigger plan. It's either that this is the new normal and Trump's going to like militarize a party and have like a militarized MAGA party, federal military police, Gestapo running DC, and then spread that all over the world, or the country at least, for now. I don't know. Probably not. But what does make sense is he's doing this to prepare for something big, maybe something to be, released or something to shock the nation. And, this may lead to some protests and or riots, and he's just getting DC ready for that backlash early. It's a good theory. Might be. Trump also met with Putin. Big meeting with Putin. It was like smoke and mirrors. It was like the biggest pageantry I ever saw. Like the old saying, roll out the red carpet. They actually rolled out the red carpet. This was in Anchorage, Alaska. Trump met Putin. They met each other and they shook hands on the red carpet and they did a little photo op. A lot of pageantry, a lot of cameras. They had a 3-hour private meeting we know very little about. Short press conference after. Coolest part was when Putin shook Trump's hand on the red carpet outside where the planes were. Trump had a B-2 stealth bomber fly over. And me, being a man and a former child, I thought that was the most badass thing ever. Like if I was in 3rd grade, I'd be like, oh my God. Do I think it was worth the money? It's debatable. Costs a lot of money to fly that stealth bomber over there just for the optics, Was it a badass moment? Yeah. You got to give it to him. The guy knows how to he knows how to make a scene, that's impactful and memorable. Pretty cool. Sent a hint, I will say. Whether it's a WWE scripted pageantry or not, it was pretty cool to see that fly over. Felt like strong. He felt good. That whole peace through strength thing, felt good. It's like, look, see that? Let's negotiate. It's like, oh shit. Wow. Pretty cool. Only sad part is this was about Ukraine and ending the war, and no agreement was reached. But there was an invitation sent to have another summit in Moscow. Putin said it in English. It was kind of weird. He's like, maybe next time in Moscow. And Trump's like, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if it's true. I heard some rumors Zelensky doesn't want to work with them as of today. I don't know. Who cares? This war should have never started, to be honest. And I don't know if it's our responsibility to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? I wish Trump would end it. I hope he does. And even if you hate Trump and you're on the left, you should hope he ends the war also, because war does nothing. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Just like the song says. This is all interesting timing that Trump's meeting with Putin and all this, because the Russian collusion investigation is still going on. The director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and the attorney general, Pam Bondi, looking into it deep. And I think a lot of stuff is going to come out about that. I think that might be the thing that, causes some of those protests I mentioned, and maybe why we need the National Guard in Washington, D.C. in the near future, involving former presidents and politicians, and maybe first ladies that may be, I don't know, under investigation or arrested. Who knows? I'll cut to the chase. If Barack Obama gets arrested, you're going to see a lot of liberals protesting and rioting. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it could. Just being honest, it could. And you got J.D. Vance kind of fanning that flame and saying that as well. A lot of people thought they went too aggressive at first with that, with their findings, like the Epstein thing, but seems like there's evidence. There was a recent declassification annex that revealed there was discussions going on with the Clinton campaign about falsely associating Trump with Russia and collusion. That's proven now. Is that illegal? I don't know. It seems like a conspiracy. It's all too fitting that now Hillary Clinton is doing these interviews saying that Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize if he ends the war in Russia. Now, you could say maybe she's being cocky and saying, I only said that because it's never going to happen. Number one, she believes it's never going to happen. Number two, she's sucking up to Trump now to get on his good side because there's some serious dirt on her and her husband that's about to get revealed if she doesn't, kiss the ring, essentially. Now, a couple episodes ago, and I keep bringing it up, I brought up the Trump Almanac, the sports almanac from Back to the Future 2. Trump has all the answers. He has the Epstein list. He's using it as leverage. And I did say, if everything starts going Trump's way, then it makes sense. He has the Epstein files and he's using them as leverage. Instead of releasing them, he's keeping them for himself and using it as leverage. That's my theory. Not saying that's true, but it's a theory. And if we're running with that theory, everything seems to be falling into place. Did you notice? Everything seems to be falling into place. Almost like Trump has leverage. And did you ever think you'd see the day where Hillary Clinton says Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize? Things are just odd. Not adding up odd, Now, let's not forget, if Trump brings light to the Obamas and the Clintons, that's going to be crazy because a lot of people live in fantasy land. The people that watch Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Colbert and The View, they think the Clinton Foundation is the nicest, greatest thing in the world. They know nothing about the Clinton kill list. They know nothing about the Bill Clinton painting that was found in Epstein's personal home that depicted Bill Clinton in Hillary's blue dress, pointing at the viewer. They don't know any of that. I'm just scratching the surface, but they don't know anything of that. They don't know about, what's his name, Mark Middleton? Was that his name? He was the former White House aide that was found under Bill Clinton, let me mention. He was found hung in a tree by an extension cord with a gunshot wound in his chest. And the autopsy said it was a suicide. That's one out of like 100 examples I could give you. But that one was a recent one. That was like a couple years back. Anyways, just like I said a couple episodes ago, the Epstein thing is already almost old news. People were really passionate about it, but it's forgotten now. Nobody heard anything about it. There's always something new, blah, blah, blah. So keep that in mind as we move forward politically. And back to what I talked about in the beginning. Are we in End Times, the book? I got to read the book, see if it mentions anything about this, but it feels like we may be. Everything seems to be getting odd. And the weirdest story I was told about recently was these screwworms. Mike the Barber, thank you for bringing this to my attention. These screwworms, they're like flies, they're like worms. I don't know what they are, but they are fatal to animals. If an animal gets infected by these worms, especially cows, these are flesh-eating flies. fly worms, whatever they are, parasites. They're in Mexico right now, coming up to the U.S. Economic problems can happen very soon if they contaminate the cows, and that would affect our beef supply. So Texas is extremely worried, and they're trying to be precautious about these worms, these screwworms. They really screw you. Yeah, but what the hell? This flesh-eating screwworm coming to destroy all the McDoubles, making prices go up. This could just be a tactic. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of like every couple years there's some killer bug. You know, the murder hornet, the cicadas from hell, and blah blah blah, and all this shit. You know, always something. They need to scare you somehow. But when it comes to food, there's other nefarious things at play, like, you know, people pushing fake meat. If all the meat's gone, you might want to eat fake meat. You might get hooked on the chemicals in the fake meat. Might create a whole new industry of feeding people plastic that tastes like beef. You know, a couple prominent figures backing that. I believe Bill Gates. Look it up. Also, don't forget, there's a big power in making things scarce. For example, these were limited time only. There's not unlimited amounts of these. Get it before it's gone. It was scarce. It's not, but I believed it was, so I bought it. I spent $18 on a burger. Just for the toy that wasn't a toy. It was a container holding paper. It was a container holding cardboard crap. But I bought it because of the illusion that it was scarce. Now, these powers, the deep state, the owners of the country, the government, all these people, corporations, blah, 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 use scarcity to scare people and create markets that aren't there. Making things scarce is very profitable. Like oil, for example. When we were in school, we learned about natural resources. We learned about non-renewable and renewable resources. You heard the term fossil fuels, that oil came from dinosaurs, and sediment that's millions of years old, and there's a finite amount of oil on the planet, and we're going to run out soon. It's all a lie, folks. It's all fake. It's so that they could fluctuate the price of oil and make more money on oil byproducts, like gasoline. Don't be fooled. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. You might want to go down it. But they're doing the same with meat, and they did it a while back, and because we forget everything, like the Epstein files and everything else, you may forget that there was mass burnings of meat processing plants a few years back to make meat, so during COVID, I think, to make meat more valuable. Now, if you think that's a coincidence that all these places just burnt down, then this discussion may be over. But if there's a little thing in your brain that goes, oh, that is fishy, then there may be hope for you. There may be hope for you to go down the rabbit hole and maybe see some stuff, discover some stuff. But remember, they make things scarce on purpose all the time. Telling you that. Remember? Please remember. Don't forget. I could be anywhere. I could be driving in my car, coming home from a birthday party, and I'll say, remember they burnt down the meat processing plants to make meat scarce? And Christy will go, what is wrong with you? And I'll go, never mind. But I don't forget. Speaking of the end times, if the screwworm wasn't enough, what's up with these octopus face rabbits in Colorado? They got tentacles growing out of their faces. It's right out of the Simpsons movie with the fish with 20 eyes. I guess some virus caused these tumors that grow these pores out of their face. They're warning people not to touch these octopus face rabbits. Do you think we're in a simulation or what? This timeline we're in is odd. After 2012, everything got weird. I'm telling you. We're in a weird timeline. But octopus face rabbits was not on my bingo card, but I wish it was. The end times, there's all this other stuff going on. I can't get into it. I don't know if it's credible, but there's floods all over the world. You know that. There's floods everywhere, even in the U.S. OpenAI released ChatGPT 5. It's smarter and better than ever before. We're going to have Neuralink chips in our brain or our hands soon. That's probably the mark of the beast they talked about in the Bible. Who knows? And to add more to the negative things, Taylor Swift just released a new album, so that might set it over. You know, we don't need that bad energy. on top of all this. The screwworms, fine. Octopus face rabbits, that's a little much. But Taylor Swift putting a new album out, I don't know if we could handle all that negativity. Pray for us. Yeah. So here's my advice to all this. I always give advice. I'm going to wrap it up in a nice bow. Me and Christy talk about this, whether it's raising a kid or a child or a baby. Our dog got a little sick. He had a stomach problem, and we were all worried about him recently. And I say this example, I said it all the time. I was writing a book a while back. It's still in the process of being written. I'm not ready to finish it. So when I'm ready, I'll finish it. But one of the chapters, I talked about you being the lead in a play. You yourself are the lead role in a play. And the director, the universe or God or both, is the one directing. You have the script. You're free to act out the script in your own artistic way. But the scenes are predetermined, and who you act with will change. And you may have loved acting with this one person for a long time, and then they're no longer in your scene anymore, and you can't be upset about that. That's just what it is. That's what it is. Cut. What do you mean? Who's the director here? Just you read your lines. That's it. Read them the best you could in the way that you see fit, but don't question who I take in and out of the scene. I'm the writer of this play. Action. And you yourself can choose to act in a way that's not the best of your ability. You may be upset about these changes made that you didn't expect. You may be upset about a scene. You may be upset about the first act. It's up to you to finish the play. People came to see the whole play, not just you giving it your all for the first 20 minutes and then being miserable going through the motions the rest of it. So whatever happens here in our little lifetime here, whether these corrupt freaks that run the government in the world destroy this beautiful planet and everything we know, whatever, it's out of our control. You need to accept things that aren't in your control. The serenity prayer, man, that's it. That's all you could do. Whether these deformed animals kill us all, and somebody touches an octopus face rabbit, and then a new COVID breaks out and it kills us. Whatever. If these data centers give us all a terrible cancer or something, what are we going to do? Are you going to sit up all night worrying about it? You worry about what's right in front of you. You don't worry about what ifs. Don't worry about what ifs. Take the time to fix yourself, get your mind ready. People work out all the time, they build their body. Do you ever build your mind? Do you ever build your soul? You got to put the same amount of time into those things. And understand that some things are going to happen that you don't like. Some things are going to happen that make you very angry, but it's up to you to put in the preparation to go above and beyond your default setting. Because if you're functioning on your default setting, you're just going to react emotionally to every single thing that happens to you. You know, you're going to want quick fixes and you're going to want instant gratification. And that's it. Learn to become content and have peace of mind with whatever happens to you. Whether you lose every person, place, or thing that determines your life, if you lose it all, you're still content. If you were in a prison, you'd be just as happy as you were outside. That's where you need to get to. That's where I strive to be. Do I fall short? Yeah, all the time. But I still try to get back there because I could do this podcast till the end of time and tell you all the terrible things that are happening, and you might focus on them, but you might have missed the positive energy of people being able to find a nice wife at Hobby Lobby. Don't forget there's also good, within the bad, the yin, the yang. You know what I'm saying? It's about what you choose to focus on. Don't let this shit bother you. Laugh it off like I do on this show. Listen to this show. This show is better than the news. Not fear mongering you, just telling you what's going on. You could draw your own conclusions about what to make of it. I'm just a cowboy in the basement. But there's always going to be something else. Remember that. So even if something's fixed, the war in Ukraine's over. Okay, then there'll be the next one. There's always more to the show. There's always a new act. Remember that. And if you're still in the play, consider yourself lucky. This episode is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery and Three Saints Barbershop, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. We have two new endorsements of the podcast. We have Tusk Tattoo Parlor in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Awesome establishment you should check out. They do a lot of other things there too. I know Rhiannon, the greatest tattoo artist that I've ever met, at Tusk. She is great. And also the famous jewelry shop, Picardo's, in Scranton, Pennsylvania also. Fixed my chain and other jewelry items I have. Got me the engagement ring that I proposed to Christy with. Hooked me up immensely. Two beautiful businesses now on the Cat Matthews Midnight Therapy Experience Express. Thank you for the endorsement. Thank you for putting the advertisement up in your businesses. And thank you for supporting the show. I don't know when I'll be back, but I can assure you I'll be back. Please enjoy this Sunday night. Please reflect on things. Please go down the rabbit hole a little. And please stay curious, my friends. Good night.